Okay, so you want to build a blog, but you're not exactly sure where to start. Now, you could probably just go ahead and start a blog without really putting much thought into it and still have it be a success, but it's far more difficult. I mean, there's really nothing wrong with shooting from the hip, but if you have an actual plan about what you want to do, it's a lot easier. I'm Mike with WriterSanctuary, and this is my Building a Better Blog series, part 1 of using Mindomo to mind map your future blog. Now, if you don't know what mind mapping is, it's a great process of being able to throw out a bunch of ideas and try to see what sticks. It's a great way to explore your imagination and come up with plans for just about anything. And today we're going to be using Mindomo in depth to plan out our future blog. And once we start building a blog, you'll be able to go to it at any point and see how we have it all set up. But first, let's start with a planning phase. Now, if you're curious about using Mindomo for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description down below. But it's a great tool I've been using for quite some time for planning out blogs and content. I've actually used it to help me plan out the liquor store I used to own. You can pretty much do anything with mind mapping. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit the create button here. And we're going to pick a blank mind map. Now there's all kinds of different ways you can run in Mindomo. Brainstorming toolboxes, you got strategies you can come up with. There's a lot of cool stuff you can do with this tool. But for today, I'm just going to create a blank mind map because I know exactly what I want to set up. Well, kind of, because I still have to figure out what kind of blog I want to make. Okay, so once it's done set up, it's time to start planning out our blog. Now, there's a lot of people out there that show off the top 10 niches you can jump into for blogs to make the most money, but I'm not one of those type of people that'll just jump into a niche just because it's popular. There's a couple of big reasons why. First of all, you're not the only one watching that video, so all these other people who are picking these niches are probably going to become your direct competition. And secondly, I don't like following something that I'm not interested in, so like personal finance is one of the top 5 for the most profitable, but I'm not interested in top finance or in personal finance. And when I'm not interested in something, I'm not going to follow through with it very well. So that means the content's going to suffer. I'm not going to really put much effort into it because I really don't care about it, and it's just, I don't know, for me it just doesn't work that way. So it's always best to find something that, well, that I'm interested in. Either that I'm interested in, that I want to turn into a hobby, or that I'm really curious about. Something that's going to hold my attention for longer than 5 minutes. So because eco-friendliness is such a hot topic at the moment, we're going to create an eco-friendly web blog. I was going to put website, but we're doing a blog. So now I don't really have a name for it yet, and that's going to be in the next phase, is when we set up hosting and the domain name. So right now I'm just going to call it an eco-friendly blog. You can call your blog whatever you like. It's completely up to you. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need is content. So I'm going to put in categories. Oops. Just so that I remember that I'm going to put categories in it. People are going to need to find content. Now the next thing I'm going to worry about is marketing. So I'm going to put that over here, just so that I keep it away from the general meat and potatoes of the blog. And then obviously, the next thing I want to worry about is monetizing, because we're making a blog to make money. So I'm going to put monetizing. And part of the content, we'll go ahead and put that up here, are the static pages. So this is going to include stuff like the about me, the contact, and all that other good stuff. Home pages, whatnot. Okay, so because I'm anal, I like to have things somewhat organized, so I'm going to put these kind of evenly spaced. I got the marketing there. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do for marketing is probably set up social media. Now we might also do some blog posts. Now because we're not selling any products directly off the website, I don't know if we'll actually get into any kind of PPC campaigns, but we are going to do affiliate marketing, but that's going to be in monetizing. So, but if we were going to put e-commerce on there at any point, we might as well go ahead and add it, because like I said before in my other videos, you really don't need to stick anything permanently in Mindomo. So we're going to say PPC campaigns, and if we don't like it, we'll just delete it. Okay, so while I'm thinking about it, monetizing, before I forget, we're going to go ahead and add affiliate links. We're also going to do AdSense, because AdSense is one of the most easiest things to add to your blog to make money, even though you don't really make a lot. I did a video recently, well I guess not recently, but last year, about how much how much traffic it would take to make $1,000, and it's stupid insane. And it also depends on your blog's niche. So like a health and fitness website is going to make more money than a gaming website. And this is because of the way that AdWords is set up and what companies throw into bids when they do advertising campaigns. Unfortunately, not a lot of people like to hear that, and so they gave the video a thumbs down. Well, that's okay, because I'm sorry you don't like the truth. What else can we do for monetizing on this blog for eco-friendly? Affiliates, AdSense. Well, while we're thinking about monetizing, what about static pages? We'll go ahead and add a contact form. We're going to add an About Me page. What kind of category should we put in there? For eco-friendly blog, let's do news. That's always a good one. Which is kind of odd because I'm not a big fan of doing news pieces, only because I am more into evergreen content so that it lasts longer. But the news pieces often is what brings in people. That's okay because I have somebody here that needs a job desperately and is willing to help me write it. So I want to do a category for at home. And let's do a category for the office. Now we might change the way these are named. It's going to be more of things you can do to be green at home, things you can do to be green in the office or at a business. And we're going to do something a little bit different with this website. We're not going to just concentrate on being a tree hugger. We're going to show the realistic reasons why anybody would want to live green, because it's, even if you don't believe in climate change, things like LED light bulbs save money in the long run. You save tons of money by using LED bulbs as opposed to incandescents. And I'll be doing an article on that. I'm also planning on doing studies on how much energy each device in your house uses. Thanks to monitor systems you can buy from like Home Depot. It'll record how much power you're using through any device plugged into it. Those are going to be kind of fun. So it's going to be more of an eco-friendly website for those for the practical person, you know? So I'm not saying that you need to go out and throw away all your clothes and buy hemp and everything else, but there's a lot of things that if you were to live more green, it would save money down the road and you'd be far more healthier. So that's what I'm going to be focusing this blog on. So it's not like I'm jumping into Greenpeace. It's almost like my own little take on it, and that's what the key on any kind of blog that you set up is going to be around. Now your topic is important, but your own personal spin on it is what's going to set you apart from the competition. So you can use some of those top 10 blog niches that people show off all over YouTube, as long as you can add your own personal spin. What makes it unique for you? I mean, you don't want to copy somebody else's success. You want to make it better. And usually when you make it better, it relies mostly on your personality. So that's what this website's going to be about. So I want to do news pieces at home, in the office, practical ways you can live green and save money and live better. Okay, so what else do we need? Let's see, social media. Since we're over here, let's go ahead and put in Facebook, because we're going to do a Facebook page. We're going to do Twitter. And this is going to be a first for me. We're going to go ahead and use Pinterest, even though Pinterest has kind of been stingy about their backlinks back to your blog from their website because they want to keep eyes on their site. And so it's getting a little bit more difficult to create traffic from Pinterest, but it's still a good place to start. And while we're at it, since we're doing images, let's go ahead and add Instagram account to it. Okay, so let's see. So our mind map is starting to take shape. We've got the eco-friendly blog in the middle. We've got our important aspects here that we want to focus on. Let's see, what else can we add to the static pages? See, like on the contact form, I'm just going to put a basic form like I have on WriterSanctuary.com. But if you were starting a small business, or if you're wanting to create one from scratch, you'd probably want to add something like the Google Map API to it and stuff like that. And I'll do those in a future video, but for now, this is a home blog, so I don't really need an address to it. The contact form is definitely going to make a huge impact. Okay, so what? Oh, you know what? I want to do case studies. So we're going to have case studies in their own category. So like our at home and at the office articles are going to be more generalized, while the case studies are going to be more focused. Like I'm going to do one on, I'm going to get 2 identical lamps, put 1 incandescent bulb in one, and use this LED in the other, and then track how much power each one of them uses over a set period of time. I know there's a lot of case studies out there already, but it means more to me to see the evidence for myself. Oh, and speaking of which, so with social media, we're also going to add YouTube, because it's a form of marketing. I can tell you that ever since I started making YouTube videos for WriterSanctuary, the traffic to my blog has increased quite a bit. So YouTube is a great aspect for marketing, even if you're just creating content like this here video, because now this video is giving me a blog post that I can put on the website. And I'm also catering to the visual audience. So I'm essentially killing two birds with one stone. Okay, is there any other ways we can monetize? I'm not going to worry about e-commerce, but if you were, you could add that here. We'll say e-commerce. But I'm probably going to wind up deleting that because I don't have any products I'm going to sell. I might in the future, but that's a great thing about mind mapping with Mindomo is at any point you can go back and add more stuff to it. You can take stuff away from it. In fact, in the future videos for setting up a blog, we'll probably come back to this quite a bit because this is going to morph exponentially over time. So we don't need to come up with an absolute, this is everything that the blog is going to include, because we can always come back and edit. But this is a good start to get us going. We've got our marketing plan going, all of our social accounts we want to set up. We've got the categories all set up. I'm still thinking maybe I should expand on that a little bit, but I'm not really sure because I won't know until we start getting content out there. But these are the big four that I want to put in. These are the ones I absolutely want to see on the blog. And then the static pages, same thing. I want the about me and the contact form. And I would put the home page, but usually the theme for WordPress do the home page for me. So we'll have to see. Okay, and one more thing that I'm going to add is going to be the blog tweaks. Now with the blog tweaks are going to include things like I want an author bio. Because right now, if I create this website, it'll use my bio from Gravatar, which is the system that pretty much runs WordPress. And the Gravatar one is pretty much I'm a freelance writer bio, and I want this one to be more geared towards eco-friendly stuff. So I'm going to have to create a whole new author bio specifically for this blog. Now, the reason why you do that is because it helps you build EAT through Google, which is the expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. It's a pain in the ass to deal with, but the more legitimate you look, the better your traffic. So I can't really use an author bio that says I'm a freelance writer, yada, 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 on an eco-friendly website. I want it to be more eco-friendly related. It's like on Crossing Colorado, I changed the bio there to include that I've lost 80 pounds so far, and this is my exploration into losing weight. And WriterSanctuary obviously has my freelance writing one. And right now I can't really think of any tweaks that I want to add. But for the author bio, I want to make this a, there we go. I want to make this a task so that we can just check it off. So as soon as I'm done with that, I just click that and it goes away. In fact, I'm going to turn all of these into tasks. I think it is Control K. Oops. I have to select it. There we go. Oh, I forgot to hit the K. Uh-oh. Undo. Then Control K. See, there we go. Damn it, did it again. Back. Okay, there we go. So anytime I make one of these, I go ahead and check it off my list. That way it's kind of keeps me going onto what I'm trying to build for this. And then once all that's done, I don't have to worry about social media. In fact, I can pretty much turn everything into a list, really, because this is all the building phase. But for now, we'll just leave it as it is. The categories especially are probably going to change a little bit over time, so I'm not really going to worry about turning these into a task yet. I'm probably going to reword them. I might even add subtasks or subcategories to each one, depending on how far we decide to go with the content. I will turn the about me, and the contact form into a task, though. Okay, so since we're doing it, why don't we set up a goal? Let's set one up for goals that we want to achieve. And our first goal is going to be, well, let's get 100 visits a day. And we're going to make that a checklist. Okay, so in order to get 100 visits a day, what do we need? Well, first thing obviously is going to be content. Then the next thing, unfortunately, we don't know exactly how much content we need for 100 visits a day. We've never built an eco-friendly blog before. And I'm not a big fan of going through, and you can see averages of what people say that works for them, but each website is going to be unique. It all comes down to personal preference and your own personality. So what works for one person isn't necessarily going to work for another. Next thing we're going to get all social going. So as soon as I get all 5 of these built and set up, I can go ahead and check that one off. because I do bring in a bit of traffic from Facebook and Twitter. I've never used Pinterest before for marketing. Instagram I have for Crossing Colorado, and that has a few followers to it. And YouTube. Obviously, YouTube works great for marketing. So if you're able to answer a question and show somebody specifically how to do a certain thing, people love it and they'll come to your blog. So there we go. We've got our basic thing going on. We'll probably add more to guest blog posts when we start getting into that. We'll probably expand the categories once we get WordPress up and running. And so it looks like we're at a good spot to stop for now. We've got a good plan going on, and at least now we have a bit of a clear path. Now you could put the different CMSs that you want to try out in this. Like if you don't want to use WordPress, you can try using Joomla, or if you want to get a private developer or hard code your stuff, or use something like Wix, but I don't use any of that. I'm a hardcore WordPress fan, so WordPress can become just about anything you want it to, which is why it runs almost a third of the websites on the internet. I can't really think of anything else that I want to add to it really quick and easy. Like I said, it takes a bit of brainstorming. This took me about maybe a half hour to come up with, and you can spend hours planning out every minute detail. Just keep in mind that it doesn't really take a lot of minute detail to get started, just a good plan of action. And with the blog tweaks, you know what, before I forget, we're going to go ahead and add YouTube embeds. And we're going to turn that, oops, God, keep doing that. We're going to turn that into a checklist because that's going to require a plugin. And there's some really cool YouTube plugins out there. With WordPress, you can just go ahead and embed the HTML that you get, the iframe code that you get from YouTube itself, and it works perfect in WordPress. You can actually just put the link in. The embed worked great, but with the plugins that you come across, you can have more control over showing specific categories, the newest video. You can easily add in live streams. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with YouTube embedded plugins. So we'll go over that once we get that going. But for now, I think, see, like I said, every time I think I'm done with something, I start coming up with another idea for something else to add. So you can get pretty deep into setting up a tree for your web or for your blog. I'm wondering if I should add another category for healthy living, because I have ideas for articles where if you were to cut down the amount of food that you eat, which is how I've lost 80 pounds. I didn't go on any special diet. Wasn't on paleo or keto. Essentially, all I did was limit my portion sizes to something logical. So instead of eating a 16-ounce steak, I'd have 3. So if everybody decided to do that, we would need far less cattle, which would impact the world exponentially. So, well, I'll go ahead and add healthy living, and we can add in some cool science and numbers there. So it's, like I said, we're not going full on tree hugger, Greenpeace, save the whales and everything else. We're showing the practicality of living green. That's what this blog is about. So once you get an idea about what your blog is about, then everything else kind of falls into place and you start getting excited about it. Like, I'm really excited to get this going. Now, I might just add more to these as subcategories later, but I'm not really sure about it, only because there's some blogs out there that have like more than 1,000 categories to it, and it just becomes a huge mess. I've seen some blogs will actually show all the categories on the right, so the list goes on forever. And the more often you make people scroll, the less likely they're going to scroll to the bottom to see anything. So people want it to be quick and easy to read. They want it to be functional. They want something that they can just tap and go. If they have to spend too much time sifting through your stuff, they're going to move on to somebody else. So I'm pretty sure we can fit everything we need in just those 5, especially if we use subcategories to expand it. But not a lot of people use the categories on my blogs anyway, so it's just a way to keep content organized for yourself, for the most part. Static pages, I think we're good on. We just need the 2 for now. We might add affiliate landing. Oh yeah, let's do that. Let's affiliate landing pages, just so that I don't forget. We're going to make those a checklist, because I like checklists. But those are going to be later on down the road. I just put them in there so I don't forget. Monetizing, we got AdSense, affiliate links, and e-commerce. There's other ways we can monetize, like if we wanted to do webinars, or if you wanted to offer sponsored paid posts, which we might do, but this is an eco-friendly blog, so I don't know how many people pay to be sponsored on those. So Okay, so our goals, we can set up any kind of goals we want, but for now we're just looking for 100 visits a day. I'm not really sure how long that's going to take, but we're definitely going to need content, get all the social media going. We'll probably add some more to this once we start the ball rolling for the blog itself. The blog tweaks, we got the author bio, the YouTube embedded. Let me do this so I remember its plugins I want to look at. Then we have the marketing aspect, social media. We got the big five that we want to use. Guest blog posts, we'll probably tap a little bit more into that. And the PPC campaigns we might delete because the way PPC works is that you're paying for ad space. And so if somebody clicks on an ad that you have through Google, then they'll come to your blog. But if I'm not making any money on my blog, then it works as kind of a way to boost your ratings, I guess. But I don't want to lose a lot of money on this. We're going to spend a bit of money, but at the very beginning, you don't want to dump thousands of dollars into a website that isn't producing results. So we'll probably add a few bucks to it, but not a lot, because we're going to try to do this as cheaply as possible, but as efficiently as possible. I think most of our money is probably going to be spent on plugins and probably themes. We might do a few ads later on once the ball starts rolling, we get more content, but right now we don't even have it built yet, so even thinking about advertising campaigns is kind of moot, because we may or may not even use it. But we'll definitely be doing social media. So there we have it. That's pretty simple, pretty easy. You can, like I said, you can spend hours expanding on each one of these points as far back as you want to give yourself some ideas. The About Me page, contact form. I might add different things we're going to do for the contact form. Landing pages. We can expand on those depending on the products that we're selling, which we'll probably wind up doing. Same with the affiliate links for monetizing. So the affiliate links and the landing pages are kind of connected. So because affiliate landing pages and affiliate links are connected, we're going to do a relationship and we're going to connect it to affiliate links. So that way we know this is affiliate marketing as a whole. So once I start setting up the affiliate marketing, I can do both of these at the same time. I might wait a little bit longer for landing pages because I like to use a product before I try to promote it. So there we go. And another cool thing about Mindomo is if you are setting up your blog, but you have a team of people that want to help you with it, like I might get my son to get going, you can have collaborations with them. They can come in and add stuff to it. You can assign tasks to people, and it's quite an in-depth system for setting just about anything up. So and that was my email telling me that I'm super busy today. Okay, so that was setting up our blog through Mindomo, and the next phase is going to be setting up our domain and web hosting. Then the real fun begins. So if you set up a blog before, have you ever tried mind mapping, or did you just shoot from the hip? And if you did just go into it blindly, has it been successful for you, and what has been your biggest hurdles? Leave it in the comments down below. Anyway, if you find the video informative, hit the like button. If you want to learn more about setting up a blog, freelance writing, WordPress, textbook, or anything else I cover, hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. And if you have any other questions or comments about mind mapping and using Mindomo, leave them in the comments down below, or you can hit me up on social media, and I'll try to answer them as best I can. That's going to do it for me today. We'll see you next time.